Hello and welcome back to Euro Football Daily, where with the World Cup over we are profiling 10 wonder kids your club needs to sign on the back of the competition. Let's go! 10. Jurrien Timber. Strongly linked with a move to Man United during the summer along with Cody Gakpo, before heeding Louis van Gaal's warning and committing to a new deal in Amsterdam, it feels almost inevitable that Jurrien Timber will leave Ajax in the next 2 windows. And there is a good chance that his World Cup campaign might well have added an extra 15 to 20 million euros to his price tag, as the Ajax Academy graduate backed up Van Gaal's decision to keep Matthijs de Ligt on the bench, putting in a series of composed displays. The Netherlands might have been a penalty shootout away from a third semi-final in their last 3 tournaments, after an ill-tempered game against Argentina, but Timber showed that he could keep his head in the white-hot heat of battle. Only Achraf Hakimi topped his 22 tackles and interceptions in the entire competition, he had the best pass completion in the Netherlands squad, and his 32 passes into the final third was only bettered by 8 players in the tournament. Linked to the move to Man United and Real Madrid amongst many others, Timber's performances for the Orange could earn Ajax another massive windfall. 9. T.BUCHANAN. Compared to a lot of players on this list, T.BUCHANAN's World Cup was short and sweet. A utility player used in defence, midfield and on the wing by Club Brugge this season, the Canadian found himself primarily used on the right-hand side of a 4-4-2 in Qatar. John Herdman's side might have ultimately failed to progress from a tricky Group F, with Morocco and Croatia both making the semi-finals, but their dynamic play won legions of fans. Their pass accuracy of 85% ranked 11th in the competition, above the Netherlands, the birthplace of possession football, whilst their 11.7 shots per game was only topped by 11 sides, suggesting that to return home with just 2 goals to their name, their first in World Cup history, was a little unfortunate. And Buchanan certainly more than played his part, with Lille striker Jonathan David the only player to top his 5 shots in the Maple Leaf squad, whilst his 7 completed take-ons ranked 13th in the entire competition, despite only playing 3 games. At 23, we're being slightly generous giving him wonder kid status, but his place on this list is no gift. 8. M.KUDUS. I'm sure Ajax won't thank us for including yet another one of their players, but Ghana's M.KUDUS was another youngster who managed to seamlessly transfer his domestic form to the international stage. 4 goals and 2 assists in 6 Champions League games this term, including a goal at Anfield, marked the former Nordsjælland player out as one to watch in Qatar. And whilst Ghana may have shown some defensive naivety, with Serbia and Costa Rica the only sides to concede more than their 7 goals, Kudus was exceptional, not least in their thrilling 3-2 victory over South Korea. His comfort in possession, balletic grace with which he carried the ball, and endless energy earmarked Kudus out as a potential star, as the presence of the Ayew brothers and Inaki Williams saw Kudus drop into midfield to devastating effect. He fired off 2.9 shots and completed 3.6 dribbles per 90, with the latter third behind Jamal Musiala and Alphonso Davies, not bad company to keep. Valued at just 15 million euros by Transfermarkt, we can't help think that Kudus would be an excellent pickup for a side like Spurs. We'd love to see that happen. 7. Yunus Musah. As Arsenal consider adding some much needed midfield depth to their squad this January, in an alternative universe they could have turned to 20-year-old Yunus Musah. That's because up until 2019 the US international was on the books at London Colney, before taking the brave decision to join Valencia at the age of 16. A La Liga debutant just a year later, he's racked up 72 appearances in just under 2.5 seasons. And all that experience stood him in good stead in the Middle East, where he formed a dynamic, hugely impressive midfield 3 alongside Leeds' Tyler Adams and Juve's Weston McKennie. Only Serginho Dest, who also had a great tournament, completed more than his 4 dribbles, and he more than chipped in defensively too, with Adams and Anthony Robinson the only US stars to top his 10 tackles and interceptions. Ahead of hosting the tournament in 2026, it was vital the USMNT gave a good account of themselves, and this World Cup proved that if they can strengthen at centre-back and striker, a run to the quarters should be a minimum expectation. 6. Azzedine A.OUNAHI. Prior to the 2022 World Cup kicking off, we highly doubt many of you had heard of Azzedine A.OUNAHI. Having not played any top-flight football prior to the start of last season, Angers took a chance on him and made the 22-year-old midfielder a key member of their side. Playing alongside Morocco teammate Sofiane Boufal, A.OUNAHI was only handed 16 Ligue 1 starts last term, but showed enough promise to be made a key player this time around, ranking 2nd for league minutes at the time of writing. The 22-year-old carried that confidence into the World Cup, and after being substituted in each of Morocco's 3 group games, has played every minute of the knockouts, as they pushed France all the way for a spot in the final. As his teammates struggled amidst an injury crisis against Portugal, it was A.OUNAHI who rose to the occasion, completing 3 dribbles and creating 2 of their 9 chances. With an 83% dribble success rate, the highest of any player to complete 5 in the competition, A.OUNAHI has proven himself to be a unique ball progressor. He feels like the sort of midfielder that would thrive in the Bundesliga. Eintracht Frankfurt should take a look. 5. Diogo Dalot. If you were a club like Barcelona who had been forced to play Araujo and Koundé at right back this season, or Real Madrid with their first choice right back Dani Carvajal entering the twilight of his career, you might want to think about signing Man United and Portugal star Diogo Dalot. Signed by Jose Mourinho in June 2018, one of the few things Mourinho got right in his final few months at Manchester, Dalot struggled to impose himself, and after 20 league appearances in 2 years, found himself out on loan in Milan in 2020-21. After being reintroduced into the first team picture by Ralf Rangnick, the arrival of Ten Hag has completely transformed him, with Casemiro the only player to make more defensive actions than him, and his Portugal teammate Bruno the only Red Devils star to top his 20 chances created. He took that form into the World Cup and more, leading his side for blocks and tackles, whilst also laying on 2 assists, successfully benching João Cancelo in the process. We have to start taking this guy seriously. 4. Gonzalo Ramos. Linked with a number of clubs including Newcastle and Brighton in the 6 months prior to the World Cup, it's fair to say that Gonzalo Ramos will be representing a member of Europe's elite before long. The 21-year-old tasked with replacing Darwin Núñez in the summer after just 13 goals in his first 59 Benfica games has risen to the task and more, netting 14 goals in 21 games to help the Eagles go unbeaten up until the World Cup break. And that character and ability to rise to the occasion was seen once again when you replaced Portugal's all-time appearance maker and international football's all-time top goal scorer Cristiano Ronaldo for their last 16 tie against Switzerland. The way Ramos responded with a phenomenal hat-trick, the first in the knockout stages of the World Cup since Italia '90, earmarked him out as a player with an enormous future. Valued at around €30 million prior to the tournament, The Athletic suggests that the player with a €120 million release clause will cost closer to €50 million in January. Arsenal, Chelsea and Man United are all reportedly interested. 3. Enzo Fernandez. Close to joining Wolves in the summer, the last 6 months couldn't really have worked out any better for Benfica midfielder Enzo Fernandez. Rather than fighting relegation in a stagnant Wolves side, Fernandez has been a crucial component to the Eagles' push for a domestic treble and run to the last 16 of the Champions League, where they'll play Club Brugge. His ability on the ball, which saw him complete 1,226 passes, more than anyone in Europe's top 5 leagues, saw him pipped by Lionel Scaloni for Qatar, and after coming off the bench in Argentina's first 2 games, scoring in their crucial 2-0 victory over Mexico, he's been an ever-present at the base of their midfield. Despite ranking 6th in the squad for minutes, no player topped his 43 passes into the final third, and only Messi and Di Maria completed more passes into the penalty area. Strongly linked with Liverpool and Real Madrid, it seems almost inevitable that the World Cup winner, named as the tournament's best young player, will be leaving Lisbon for good in 2023. 2. Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham's World Cup journey might have ended with bitter disappointment against France in the quarter-finals, their 7th exit at that stage of the competition, more than any other nation, but his ascent to superstardom has only just begun. His performances at the World Cup, in which he ranked first in the 3-line squad for shot-creating actions, tackles won, blocks, tackles and interceptions, dribbles, and progressive passes received, confirm what we already knew about Jude Bellingham, that he's a class act. Part of an exciting crop of young midfielders dominating their respective leagues alongside Jamal Musiala, Pedri and Gavi, Bellingham is the most talked about, and that's because he's almost certain to leave Borussia Dortmund in 2023. Pedri and Gavi both have €1 billion release clauses, and Musiala's status as the best player at a dominant Bayern side means it's highly unlikely he'll leave anytime soon. But Dortmund know their status in the food chain, and having sold 5 players for over €60 million since 2017-18, they are set to make a major windfall on the £25 million they spent on the Birmingham teenager in July 2020. With Liverpool, Real Madrid and Man City leading the race, Bellingham's potential destination will be the transfer saga of 2023. 1. Josko Gvardiol. Messi might have embarrassed Gvardiol in Croatia's 3-0 semi-final demise, as he has to many more experienced defenders over the years, but there can be no doubt about it. Gvardiol will be top of plenty of clubs' Christmas lists after this World Cup. An excellent reader of the game with the ability to consistently play line-breaking passes and drives through the opposition's press, Gvardiol played every single minute of Croatia's run to the semi-finals, completed 89% of his passes, a figure topped only by Kovacic, and led his side for clearances and interceptions. At just 20 years old, the former Dinamo Zagreb youngster showed the sort of maturity and quality that earmarks him out as a player who can, alongside Kovacic, help Croatia bridge the gap between Modric and Perisic and a new generation. Already valued at €60 million by Transfermarkt and with 4.5 years to run on his contract, Chelsea, Man United or any of the clubs interested will have to pay north of €90 million to land Gvardiol this January. Based on his performances, he might just be worth it. So guys, that was 10 World Cup wonder kids your club needs to sign, but I want the answers to the big questions. Where is Jude Bellingham going to end up? And where is Josko Gvardiol going to end up? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to Euro Football Daily, and I'll catch you later in the week.